Okay, hello guys. My name is Stanislav and currently I'm leading an art team in Relax Gaming Studio in Malmo. Today's agenda for me is to highlight roadmap, define milestones and set goals for creative personalities on their way into the gaming industry. Before we start, how many of you guys are still looking for your way into the gaming industry? Okay, some of you. Yeah, for those of you, I would recommend don't wait any longer, since industry is developing so quickly, and sooner you start, more chances you get to grow big. And as you may notice from the subject of my speech, it's meant more for students and people who are still in the beginning of their artistic journey. But I'm sure that those of you who are already doing game dev for a living still can find some useful tips in it. So my development as an artist started with professional shift. From 2004 to 2012, I was working and professionally growing in publishing. I worked in famous at the time publishing houses and Ukrainian editions of international magazines like Playboy, FHM, Viva, OK International. You probably might not know most of these people, but back then in Ukraine, they were quite big pop stars, and it was kind of cool to work with them. I put lots of effort and learning into this field, and honestly consider that would be my profession for life. But should I stress more that I was completely wrong? Not going into details, but advanced color correction from profession became function in cameras and button phone applications. That pushed me to look for opportunities elsewhere. And let me say, guys, for some time I was down and doubting everything. My skills, education, even my own age. I was 28 at the time, still quite young, but back then I felt like 28, it's already too late to start a new career from scratch. But I needed a job, so I started analyzing my skills, passions, and market. So first, advanced usage of Photoshop, that's something that I got from previous job. And I knew that I would like to progress in it. Next is drawing. Drawing always was my hobby, and something that my mom used to brag about with her mom friends. And video games. Of course, this was a huge part of my life. By the way, how many of you guys enjoy playing video games? Awesome. Almost everybody. So yeah, I would say it's not necessary to love video games to create them, but if you do, it definitely might make your job more special. So since I already knew Photoshop, I have a passion in both drawing and video games. Everything started to come together. My introduction to video games started as a profession as a concept artist in hidden object games. It's like casual adventure games for moms. And look at this sketch. This was my test assignment for my first ever game job 7 years ago. Would I hire myself with that sketch? I'm not sure. But my first art director saw some potential in me, and I got the job. And guys, I was paid just to draw. Can you imagine how awesome I felt? I sketch everything. Environments, characters, props for video games. And for some time, I was like really happy. But then I realized that I would like to progress. I took some courses on digital painting and moved to Illustrator role. I was concepting and painting marketing banners for mobile games. Also done some illustration for books and even was in charge of creation my own mobile game for kids. What I noticed about myself back then, that I had much more fun working with cartoonish art style. From then, I knew that I would like to progress in it. In 2016, I moved from Ukraine to Sweden, where I started as a digital artist, concepting and designing all varieties of art for online casino game. After 1 year, after successfully launching several pretty successful games, management of studio realized that we can expand. I was promoted as a lead artist and started to hiring more talents. From then, me and my team created about 20 products, including mini games, full slots, and pretty successful network releases. Looking back, I clearly understand that I was lucky somewhere, but of course, perseverance and constant learning get me where I am right now. And that encouraged me to prepare this talk for you guys, for young artists, and for people who wondering about art game development in general. So I would like to start with three major whales that build up the base for your creative development as an artist. It's analysis, structure, and dedication. It might sound boring, but let me tell you more about it. So, analysis. What is that you need to analyze in gaming industry as an artist? Probably what kind of game do you like to create? Because different games need a different art. And if you, like me, enjoy work on stylized artwork more, then it will be hard and less enjoyable for you to work on AAA hardcore production. So what is your preferences? Realistic or stylized artwork? And second is what kind of jobs are there? What kind of candidates are needed? So let me guide you through specific of roles or so-called hard skills. If your passion is to draw figures and emotions, if you enjoy designing outfits, if you like to explore different historical personalities and costumes, character artist could be the dream job for you. It could be 2D or 3D. It could involve sketching or final polish render. You will be responsible for personality, look, and mood. Create different varieties of the same character so team can choose most representative features. Also, you need to remember that purpose of your character is to be interactive, which means animated. So good character designer gather good understanding of animation principles. Skills that will help you to develop, it's figure drawing, sculpturing, and anatomy studies. Environmental artist will be charged for creation worlds, areas, and levels for a player to explore. To do so, you will need to continuously look into interior design and architecture, also fine art and graphic design, and of course, observing the real world around you will help you to create believable environments. This actually works with everything that you are doing. Characters or environments, they need to be believable. So player goes, oh, this character reminds me of someone, or this environment looks slightly familiar, although it's some crazy cyberpunk location. However, it's totally possible to become 2D environmental artist, mastering matte painting and digital drawing. Down the road, you will realize that professional usage of 3D software will bring your skill to another level and will give you more opportunities in higher tier game production. Concept artist, in my opinion, is the most creative job, but also most demanding one, since you will need to know a lot. You will be asked to sketch everything. Characters, environments, sometimes even UI, logo, and font design. It could be quite pressing because you're expected to constantly deliver all cool sketches and ideas. And of course, we all creative personalities, but when it's your job, you can't only rely on your imagination. You need to learn how to work with photo references, master matte painting and digital drawing. Even some basic 3D modeling skills will be required at some time. Besides all technical skills, you need to learn how to communicate your ideas clear and effectively. UI artist and UX designer. When UI artist will be responsible for creation such cool stuff as health bars and ability icons, UX designer role is much more logical. They will be responsible for creation the whole game flow and prototyping all interactions, working closely with developers, testing and implementing all aspects of interface. It might sound complicated and not that artistic, but this is one of the most important parts of the game. Since let's say you're a player and you will receive 10 pop-ups one after another, even if those are rewarding one, you will probably not have fun and will quit the game. But if interfaces are intuitive and interactions are smooth, a player will not even notice that, but will be able to stick in the game for hours. Technical artist looks like a coder. Yeah, for me as well, because it's not about creation of beautiful pictures. It's all about serving as a bridge between dev and art department, empowering artists and other disciplines to be more efficient in their job. Technical artists should have a good understanding of art and dev pipelines and support artists with needed tools such as plugins, scripts, shaders, even pipelines themselves, So it's not visual, it's more technical. Art director. This role will require a person to be efficient manager with excellent communication skills and understand both technical and financial constraints of the market. Art director, of course, should be really experienced in art, although in most cases not draw much, but he needs to make sure that art of project is consistent. Also, some studios have such thing as a studio art style, so art director should ensure that player will receive visuals and qualities expected from this studio. You can't get this role in the beginning of your career, but definitely it can be your goal if you enjoy this kind of responsibilities. In smaller studios, there is such role as general artist, who's be responsible basically for everything, from sketches to final render and animation. So if you're thinking about working on indie development or in mobile game, you need to be prepared that it will be required. So when I'm talking about analyzing, I'm talking about analyzing jobs and market, but also I'm talking about analyzing and reflecting on yourself and passions. So let's say we define what our goal is, we know what job we're aiming for, time to structure our path. Let's start with portfolio. Portfolio is an artist's resume. Of course, you will need to have proper CV with your job experience and education, but in my opinion, portfolio is so much more important. And here I can give you two advice. First is what? What to publish in your portfolio? And answer is kind of obvious. Put your best works in it, especially those that related with game art. If you don't have any, it's good to take a look on art of games that you would like to create and try to make similar pieces. You can always put it in your portfolio as a personal project. And of course, daily studies, sketches, everything will do for the beginner. And second is where to publish your portfolio. You always can create private portfolio that you will send directly to the potential employer, but in my opinion, it's better to use one of many art community websites like ArtStation and Behance. First, it will increase your visibility as an artist, and second, many recruiters looking for candidates there. Entry level. Most of studios have juniors, intermediate, and senior roles. And as a beginner without no previous game experience, you will probably expect junior role. But if you already done some art-related job and you have good portfolio, you might get role based on your current art skills. Shortly, I would say, if you're a junior artist, it's okay to need some support in your job. If you're intermediate, you will be expected to work independently. And as a senior artist, you'll be required to coach and support more juniors' role in your team. Self-awareness of your current art skill will help you to find areas that you would like to improve based on skills that you lack and requirements of role that you're aiming for. I would recommend never start on multiple areas at the time. Let's say this period of time you try to improve your understanding of values. You took some courses, try to apply new knowledge to your job and to your personal projects, and only then, when you feel more comfortable with it, you start on the new area, let's say composition and color values, because it's practically impossible to focus on multiple areas at the time when you're learning. And since academic game art education still just starting to be available, there is many online schools that can provide you with courses from whales of industry who designing for Naughty Dog, Blizzard, and other big gaming companies. Depending on your budget, you can always invest and get courses with personal feedback from the teacher, and I would really recommend those because they already structured for you, and those teachers will work with you independently and invest their time to work with your artwork. Although if you don't have money, there is many free resources like good books on art and free tutorials from artists that you admire. But you need to be prepared that it will require more work and effort from you, since you will need to structure your learning to get good bits of knowledge. Find your way into online community. As an artist, you need to seek for feedback from community constantly, and multiple platforms will help you with that. Again, you can join ArtStation and Behance. Many Facebook communities like Level Up even Instagram. You can post your progress there to get some opinions. But you shouldn't blindly accept all feedback that your artwork receives, either positive or negative. Rather, try to find person whose opinion you trust. And guys, it shouldn't be your sibling, it should be an artist. Of course, join art communities to follow competitive standards. Find artists who already did some art for games. Try to analyze their work and do master studies from them. That will help you to understand the process behind creation of the artwork. And with time, you will be able to achieve competitive standards. Here, I done some master studies while taking color and light course. What basically I did, I took pictures from Pinterest, those that I like in terms of color, and tried to create my own quick sketches, tried to understand color values and lights, and so they look similar from distance. Although if you look closely, you will see how rough mine is. It's because I have a specific agenda. I'm learning color. I was allowed to spend only an hour on each piece, and I wasn't allowed to use any color picker, so I understand color better. Keep up to the date with your tools. Never underestimate tools that will help you to achieve competitive result. And of course, even if you are a 2D artist, it's now or never to start learning 3D software. And what is most important with all these trainings, learnings, and preparation is don't actually delay applying for a job, since that's where you get most knowledge from. You might be familiar with this concept, 70-20-10 model. The idea is that you get 70% of knowledge and professional improvement from actual job, trying things that you never tried before. 20% from other people, shadowing more senior people, looking how they approach similar tasks, and only 10% from any kind of trainings, from courses, books, learnings, whatsoever. So keep that in mind. Dedication. When I'm talking about dedication, I'm talking about passion and dedication in craft and learning new things, but also I'm talking about dedication in job itself. Or so-called soft skills that you will need to master to become professional. One of the significant skills that industry demands is collaboration. You will need to always collaborate with other artists. Remember, you creating one game, and all different pieces created by different artists need to work well together and serve main design vision. Also, often you will need to collaborate with other disciplines, like game designers, animators, programmers, so it's good to know a little bit about their process as well. Working with milestones and tight schedules. Smart balance between work and exploration should become your creed instead of inspiration, since when you're a professional artist, you can't basically wait for inspiration to be able to create. You will be expected to deliver constantly. Usually in professional environment, speed is as important as quality. So you must learn how to not go for perfection sometime and just deliver so-called MVP, minimal viable product. So it's just good enough in terms to meet your deadlines and not create bottlenecks for programmers or other processes. Of course, as I mentioned, feedback is essential for artists. You need to be prepared that at your job, other artists and people even without any artistic knowledge will constantly review your work and analyze it. Learn to seek for a feedback and not take it personally, since each new look on your artwork will give you new ideas, tips, and solutions. Also, learn how to give a feedback. Let's say your colleague did an artwork that disturbed you. Try to analyze it, address the problem, and communicate it. And it's really important that any feedback, especially negative one, it's not about your personal preferences, but around the problem. Although visually, games are pretty similar to other entertainment medium like cartoons or movies, let's say, there is one major difference. And there is one major difference. In games, you're not longer a viewer. You are a main participant. So experience that artists will provide within their artwork should actively encourage players to interact, explore, and spend hours within created worlds. troubleshooting. While working, you will often meet tasks that you never done. Even me, after 7 years in industry, I'm almost each day encountering challenges that I never solved. My recommendation will be to stay open and honest with yourself in those situations, because it's okay to not know how to approach the task and ask more seniors for help. But of course, you need to know how to gather information on subject yourself, since internet are limitless. What I would like to add about soft skills, that of course you can master your drawing and painting skills, but if you would like to progress in your career, especially starting from intermediate level, you need to understand that mastering, giving and receiving feedback, managing your time became as crucial and important as actual technical skills. So, the good and bad thing about being an artist is that you can never stop learning. You might think that you will take a couple courses and you will be done, but in practice, to be successful, you need to continuously improve your knowledge, learning new skills and tools. My biggest inspiration in this, it's Nathan Fowkes. You might know this guy. He created this beautiful color keys for Pixar and Disney movies like Rio, Puss in Boots, Prince of Egypt. Once during Cursor conference, he mentioned that each day for last 20 years, he was doing color studies from nature or other artists who he admired, and to increase his visual library and keep his eyes fresh. Sometimes really simple, like under half of an hour. But can you imagine, each day for 20 years, and he's really successful and really respected. He might probably just drop it, but in my opinion, this is the key. He's that successful because he's never stopped learning. And he won't become updated because his knowledge is always fresh. So this is my main recommendation, guys. Never stop learning. Keep practicing and you will get there too. Thank you. Guys, one thing, it's like everybody doing that when it's their first conference or speech. Can I take a photo with you?
Sure,
Please.
sure, do it.
Can you maybe
Yeah, Stanislav!
Awesome, guys, thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you very much.
Wait a second. I think we have time for a couple of questions, if anybody.
Everything was super clear.
Entering the industry is not really easy. Yo, G. Yeah, we have a question there. You said you had mic.
Ничего, если я задам вопрос на русском?
Да, пожалуйста.
Я более не артист, я более как программист. Есть ли у вас какие-нибудь советы именно самим программистам, которые могли бы параллельно идти как и артистам, так и программистам в начале вообще всей этой карьеры игровой индустрии?
Okay, the question was, can I give some advices actually to programmers in the beginning of their path? This tricky one, but I can say probably the collaboration is the huge thing. So when you're starting, even for example in our studio in Sweden, we often took interns or people even without any coding knowledge. What I noticed were really helpful for young programmers is to collaborate through all processes, because it basically will give them more understanding on why they are there, why they want to make games, what good and bad in approaching different tasks. So maybe collaboration will be my answer.
And I can give some word because I'm a programmer and I'm working for like 70 years in the industry. And well, I think that the reason why you can be hired when you have no prior experience is, first, you can show the projects that you did, like sandbox games, or you just made a feature or something. And then the second one is you need to show the passion that you're really willing to work. You want to put in hard work and work a lot and learn. Like never stop learning is the key in here when you're starting. So people need to see the passion in your eyes, and that you have some technical experience that you can actually do some kind of a job. I would say so. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome answer.
Спасибо большое.
Yeah. I think another question, we can do another question now. Yep. Wait a second, the mic is coming.
Being an artist can be really demanding, and my question is, how do you avoid creative burnouts in the industry?
Yeah, that's a good one. Like, I think the most important is take care of yourself. Like, you always can reach your goal, but if you will burn out, if you will have no sleep, if you will have no personal life or will have no enjoyment of your life, you definitely can make good art in the end. So I would suggest never invest the whole week, for example, the whole week to education. Find days when you basically don't think about art at all, when you create something useless. Like, because as an artist, you're demanding from yourself to always improve your skill, and like it's really hard to how you say to leave it and just create something that you will never gonna use, like make some cookies look some serious or whatever. So don't focus your 100% of improvement. That would be my answer.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Do we have another question, guys? We have a minute or two. Just drop it if you have. No? All right.
Okay.
Stanislav, thank you very much. That was a really
Thank you.
nice talk, and that's a little present from us.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, guys. It was really nice.
I think that you can ask some questions afterwards.
Yeah,
because
I will be here for today, so yeah. Feel free to.
that's a strong topic to
join
talk
me.
about.
Yes,
Entering the industry is really hard,
yes, I can share my
especially in here in Estonia,
knowledge.
or I don't know. There's not a lot of companies, so you have to be.
Yeah, but
proactive,
you can always look for opportunities outside the country, right?
Yeah, but
Or is it
right.
the topic
But Game Dev Days is about Estonia.
Yes,
you know,
yes, of
industry.
course. Sorry.
So that's fine. All right. So
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you very much.